So we got Kareem Manuel,
Yep.
FKA Katalyst.
Right.
A lot of, I guess with that, I guess comes with a lot of change. You got name change.
Absolutely.
You got marriage.
Yeah.
Lots of change. Lots of change recently, and then you got a very ambitious project coming up. So before we jump into this really ambitious project you got coming up, just for the people not familiar with you, just give us a little bit on who you are, where you come from, what you've been up to.
Okay. Kareem Manuel, obviously, used to be Katalyst, kind of still Katalyst in heart, but I went through a name drop. It's not like a name change. My name is Kareem, and the reason I did that was because I wanted to kind of drop the facade instead of being somebody else. Like when I was Katalyst, I was trying to please people in a sense. I would write a song thinking, what will Lecrae say over this beat, or how would Trip attack this, or what would Flame, like the guys I looked up to. And while I think I was okay at that, with this project and kind of where I am in my life, I just wanted to be myself. I wanted to be me. And so my first album was Death by Design. God really blessed that project. It was a lot of great things happened with that. And so now though, I'm working on a new project, and it's totally me, 100%. The type of music I want to make, the beat selection, the storyline, rhyme schemes, everything is what I would like to make, what I would like to do. So I said, let me just drop the name and just be myself, so that the listener, the fan, would know they're hearing from a real person. They're hearing from Kareem Manuel, not from some alter ego I created and I go home and be somebody else. Like, I'm the same exact guy. The stuff I'm rapping about, the stuff I'm talking about, this is stuff I'm dealing with. This is stuff that I'm struggling with, and I'm hoping that my music will help you if you're dealing with the same thing. It'll be encouragement, it'll be challenging. I mean, you can feel like we're connected somehow, like we are friends, even if I never meet you, because you know Kareem now a little bit more after getting this. So
now with the project, it's an ambitious project.
yeah,
It's a very ambitious project. Tell us about tell everybody watching what's your plan for the project as a whole, because it's really a multimedia project.
it is. If I may, I just want to give a little history on kind of how I arrived at the project, then I'll explain the project. Growing up as a kid, I love stories. I don't know what any kid that doesn't, but for whatever reason, stories came alive for me in a way that was different than even other people in my family. My parents would look at me sometimes, and it was clear I was dazed because I would be smiling at something and like I'm looking at a wall. But it's because I see in my head all these images, these scenes of whatever's happening, either something I'm creating or a book I'm reading. I see myself in the story, and so I've always loved when people can tell stories well. Movies, books, music. If they can articulate their message and their story well, I was a fan. So our movies like Matrix was so big, Inception, books like The Lord of the Rings or The Chronicles of Narnia, The Pilgrim's Progress. Like there are these epic stories where people can connect and see themselves within the story. And when I was thinking about what to do for the follow-up to Death by Design, I didn't want to just do another album where I was kind of preaching at everybody and telling them, you need to do this or you need to do that. And so I didn't know what to do for a while. And then I read a book called The Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. And it was this extended allegory, this metaphor of the life of a man who is not a believer, becomes a believer, and is still on this journey to figure out what that means. And again, like that imagination that I hadn't felt for years was just awakened, and I saw myself in the story. And instead of reading the main character's name, I saw myself there, and I felt the issues he was dealing with, because they were the same issues I was dealing with. Having to leave your family to chase after what you believe to be the truth. Having to climb this mountain that God put in front of you, even though like you would much rather go around it or just go back home. It's like, God put this mountain here, I gotta climb it. Like just all these images were just flashing. And so when I wanted to do the album, at first I thought I'll just do an album based on The Pilgrim's Progress, and that would be it. And the more I started writing out the story, I was like, this is not okay. I got to do something else than just the album. And so I said, what if I did, because I love comic books, I got maybe 500 at home. And so I said, what if I did like a comic book? It started off as just a comic book. What if I did a comic book to go with it? Like just kind of like a side project. And when I talked to the guy who was going to write it, he said, we should just do a novel. And I was like, well, yeah, that'd be great. So then the graphic novel piece got added. And then when I saw myself performing the music live, I saw another aspect of the story, like a continuation. And so now it's an album, a graphic novel, the live show, the music videos, and the website are all a piece of the story. And so if you come to the website, you get one part of the story. You get the album. You get almost like the narration of the story. Like you are with me as I live out each aspect of the songs. And then the graphic novel tells a part of the story that you hear about on the album, but you don't get to live until you get the book. And then you're in a different section, and it kind of ties in. I believe it's going to be like 3 and 4. What happens between track 3 and track 4 is told in the book. And what happens between track 11 and track 13, you get at the live show. And what happens after the album is over, you get at the website. So we're trying to build a world where people can immerse themselves in kind of this imagination and this fun and this truth, but then have the same type of feeling I had as a kid with these stories that just came alive. It's like we want to make it alive for you as much as possible. So
That's dope, and it's ambitious.
yeah,
that's an ambitious thing, because taking everything and telling a full story in multiple different ways, where you're getting like completely immersed in it in every different way that people connect. I think that's ambitious. I think it's dope. Now, with that, what kind of pressure is that?
man.
Because you don't just have to deliver a good album, you got to deliver a good website, graphic novel, live show,
Yeah.
music videos. It's like, what kind of pressure does that create? Does it?
On one hand, as an artist, I feel all the pressure in the world because it's very limited budget or resource. Even as a man, limited creativity. When you look at Hollywood budgets, when they're writing a story, somebody might write the story, but it's a lot of people working on the actual script. There's people who are, their job is solely there to make sure that people have on the exact right costume, right? Like every detail is taken care of, and it's a small team, and we're trying our best to do the best we can to, one, glorify God and honor Him, but then two, to do a good job, to make good art. And so absolutely I feel pressure to rap well, to pick good music. I feel pressure to write a good story for the book. I don't like when stuff is corny, period. I don't like when stuff is bad, but I have to try. Like I have to. It's something in me and in the people I'm around that makes me say I have to try to do this well. Even if at the very least it inspires somebody else to do it better, I would be more than honored if that's what it did. But I have to go for it. I can't stop.
Sonically, what can we expect from this album? Like, what kind of styles? Like, what can we expect?
I've been really struggling with trying to figure out how to answer that question when people ask. It's music. There's not one track on the album that doesn't have multiple people working on it. So what I mean is, I have a track that I sampled a group called Abandon, and they cleared the sample for me. I appreciate that. They have an amazing song called Hero. I love that song. Alex Medina produced the beat and sampled it. Lecrae's featured on it, and then the Dallas Symphony Orchestra is playing live strings and horns and accompaniment over that. Tony Stone is co-producing the whole album. So every track I get, I send to him after I'm done recording it, and then he adds a bunch of live elements to it. Swoop has produced a lot. So it's music, it's different meters and rhythms, different sounds. It's blues, it's pop, it's hip hop, it's rock. It's really music I like, and I try to blend it together where it really feels like a soundtrack to a movie, where it's not just like me. It's like, oh, I like this type of beat. It's a bunch of producers and writers, getting together. Benja wrote a lot of hooks, and then I would edit the hooks, or I would have a concept for an idea for a song, and then somebody else, would add to it. So it's just, it's music, man. It's just, I try to make good music. I don't know how else to frame it, what style. It's just, hopefully people dig it.
What's a couple songs we should check for, like in your eyes, like, yo, my favorite song is this for this reason. Talk to us about a couple of them.
It's hard because every song is a part of the story. There's not any song that I wrote that doesn't push the story along in some way. There's songs I wrote that I didn't record because they were fillers. Like, they were just like, there's no reason for this song. And so the reason it's taking so long, I put out my album early 2009, but I was done in 2008, and now it's 2011, and I haven't put out anything since. And I've been working on this, and so it's hard. Sin City is the first song, and that's kind of painting the picture and setting the scene for where I'm going. So I'm in this city that I found out is full of sin. It's about to be destroyed eventually by the king of the world, and I need to leave and escape that, but I have no idea how to do that. I don't know where to go. I don't know who can save me. I don't know how to get rid of this, how to fix myself. I leave from there, end up at a place called Circus. Circus is like a church. Everybody's shouting and screaming and performing and doing all these things to try to be right, but it's still not. God is still not there. And I finally get to a place called Intersection, and Intersection is the crossroads where I can either go on the Broadway or the narrow way. I go to Broadway, end up on the narrow road. Then again, I alluded to the mountain difficult before. So all that to say, like, every song has a purpose expressly. Like, it's no just I'm writing, but the songs I kind of love almost because of how much work it took to get done and what they meant for me in my life. There's an artist named Plum. She's featured on this song called Where, and it's my anger at God. Like, I'm frustrated, I'm angry, I feel like I'm in the valley of the shadow of death, and so the whole song I'm just like, where in the world are you? Like, what's going on? Like, it's just bitter, and her voice on the hook, just stupid. Obviously Hero featuring Lecrae, like I told you about the orchestra, that for nothing else, like, they called me when I was at home and said, hey, can we speak to Kareem? I said, yeah, this is Kareem. They said, this is the Dallas Symphony Orchestra. We just played on your song. We want to know if that was okay. So I love that for a totally different reason. And plus, I think it's a good song. I got a song I'm going to release for free on my Facebook page called Endure, featuring Pro. Pro made the beat. Tony Stone freaked it out some more. The title track, Until Forever. Yeah. I love every song, and I'm not just saying that. There's songs on Death by Design that I would have done differently. This song, I love every song, but those 4 or 5, I would definitely say, check them out right away and let me know what you think. Like, I put my heart and soul in those. You said it's ambitious, which means it costs money, and we have to check all of the. I mean, I've had to go back and redo lines because I said one thing in the song toward the end of the album that didn't match with what I said, in the beginning, or vice versa. And so I've had to go and restructure songs to make sure that the storyline is as cohesive as possible. So it's a lot. It's a lot. But if it feels or sounds anything like what I hear in my heart, then I think people will be impacted by it.
Cool. Last words.
I love where I am right now. This project has been. If I died right now, I would be satisfied with my life's work. After I released Death by Design, my wife lost her job, I lost my job, and we found out we were having a baby, kind of all at the same time. And you hear that kind of passion in the music. I feel like I feel like this is the purest form of me that I could possibly create at this time. There's no fillers, no mask, no shields. Like, you are getting me. The name of the project is called Until Forever, and it's just about when God comes and brings forever here. It's about being on that journey towards waiting for a time to be just over with, and we'll be with Him forever. We'll live with Him forever, and until then, I'm here on this journey. And so I just want everybody to go with me. Please just give me grace, give me time. I'm trying to grow, and go with me on this journey until forever.
Are there some things that you're doing with this project to engage fans, since you're covering so many media forms, or stuff that you're doing to engage fans leading up to the album across these media forms?
Yep, absolutely. We're doing something called, we haven't come up with a cool title, but it's literally a live scavenger hunt based on the album. And so what's going to happen is when you come to my site or my YouTube page, I'll have a video giving clues as to a certain thing that I've hidden somewhere right now just in the city of Chicago, but we will expand it to other places. And then as people go, we're using a program called Geocache, where we'll be able to hide something, give the GPS coordinates, they'll be able to go and get whatever it is I left them there, whether that's a t-shirt, the whole album for free, songs that didn't make the album, it's going to be a bunch of stuff, but at every location we're also going to leave a notebook that's going to have a scripture reference based on a song that I wrote, like what I was thinking about, what scripture was challenging me when I wrote this song, and then just my journal. And then I want people, as they go and check it out, leave their own thoughts about that scripture and how it's touching and impacting them. And then the way you find the next thing is to figure out the clues in the video to find the next video. So it'll be videos hidden all over YouTube. And then as you get them, I mean, we'll be leaving like tickets to the release concert or discount codes to get stuff for free, different things like that. So we'll be doing like a real human scavenger hunt because, again, the whole album is about a journey. The book's about a journey. And so we want the fans to take a spiritual journey as well. And we just think this is one cool way that we'll be able to do that.
Legacy Confrence. You help run it. You help make it happen.
Yeah.
Why Legacy Confrence? Mm-hmm. Why now?
Okay. While I'm at the Legacy Confrence, I came as a spectator the first year. I came just because Lecrae was going to be here. I was a rapper, and I wanted to get put on. And God changed my life. I met Brian Dye through Jay-Sun. Jay-Sun introduced me because when I came, I heard the truth. I heard the gospel, and I was like, I've never heard that like that before. Not by people who look like me, not by people who dress like me. I definitely never heard it. And so Brian started coming to my house every week, pouring into me, training me. I moved in with Brian for a year, got discipled by him, ended up getting married. And so I was like, yo, I need to be a part of this. And so when I moved in, I started helping them out, and I've been helping out ever since. And that was like 5 years ago. And the Legacy Confrence really is, we try to be solid teaching. We try to push you to study the word, to make disciples of all nations, but in an urban context. We feel like there's so many things out there for different types of people, very few things about people who grow up in places like we grow up, or who live and appreciate the same things that we appreciate. And so we just wanted to make something that was going to be solid and edifying and biblically sound and cross-centered, that reach people who loved hip-hop, who wore baggy jeans, who grew up, beatboxing or doing graffiti or dreaming of doing that, or, just things like that. So that's it. Cool. I gotta go. Rapzilla.com. Sorry. Cool. I gotta run. Thank y'all so much.
Thanks for the time.
If I miss anything,
thanks for the time.